It is indeed a great pleasure to join you today as we celebrate a real landmark for Pakistan, the successful debut issuance of Pakistan's Panda Bond in the People's Republic of China. As it has been said earlier by the esteemed speakers, this achievement is far more than the completion of a financial transaction. It marks the beginning of a new chapter in Pakistan's economic and financial engagement with China in the context of international capital markets. It reflects trust, partnership, innovation, financial collaboration, and our shared commitment to sustainable development and regional connectivity. As Ambassador Hashmi mentioned in his opening remarks, this moment carries even greater significance as Pakistan and China proudly celebrate 75 years of diplomatic relations, and also in the context of Prime Minister's upcoming visit. It's a relationship defined by mutual respect and trust, an unwavering commitment to each other's progress. Today's Panda Bond issuance marks another important milestone in that journey. It shows the growing maturity of our economic cooperation and the confidence of Chinese institutions and investors in Pakistan's economic direction of travel. Islamic Republic of Pakistan is proud to be the first Panda Bond issuer from South Asia, a distinction that underscores the strength of our bilateral relationship and the credibility of Pakistan's reform agenda. Ladies and gentlemen, as CICC and HBL just mentioned, the journey towards this inaugural issuance began several years ago. The initial vision of accessing the Chinese onshore capital market dates back to 2019. Under the leadership of Prime Minister Muhammad Sharif, this initiative gained renewed momentum, and those of you who know him or who have worked with him, there is always a real sense of urgency. And then we got the strategic clarity in 2024. Over the past 2 years, we have worked very closely with our Chinese counterparts. I want to here acknowledge the Honorable Finance Minister and Dr. Pan from PBOC, whom I had the honor and privilege of meeting just a month back in Washington, D.C. on the sidelines of the IMF World Bank meetings. Of course, NAFME as the regulator, our development partners, ADB and AIB, our advisors and market participants to realize this vision. Our goal was clear: to establish Pakistan's long-term presence in the Chinese capital markets and to create a sustainable platform for future sovereign issues. Today, Pakistan has successfully anchored a CNY 7.2 billion Panda Bond program. The debut issuance of CNY 1.75 billion, as was mentioned by earlier speakers, experienced an overwhelmingly positive response and was oversubscribed by 5 times and closed at coupon rate of 2.5%. And I witnessed this real time, because from the airport, I went straight to CICC office and saw the book building process as it went into completion. We are grateful for the strong support from anchor investors and for the leadership of CICC as lead underwriter, along with Bank of China, Standard Chartered Bank, Hongta Securities as joint lead underwriters. Your remarkable execution played a pivotal role in the success of this landmark transaction. I would also like to acknowledge and give special thanks to HBL. They have been part of this journey since 2019 and have played a pivotal role in getting this through the finishing line. I would also like to express our sincere appreciation and gratitude to the Asian Infrastructure Investment Bank and the Asian Development Bank for providing credit enhancement guarantees. Your partnership strengthened investor confidence and enabled Pakistan's successful entry into the Chinese onshore bond market. I again had the pleasure of meeting both presidents of AIB and ADB in Washington, and again, through the senior representatives, please do convey my sincere gratitude to both leaders. Importantly, this is not a conventional bond issuance. It is Pakistan's first sustainable green Panda Bond, and the proceeds will be dedicated to projects in the water sector, social infrastructure, and education. This also underscores our commitment and focus for inclusive and sustainable growth. Ladies and gentlemen, this transaction actually ticks a lot of boxes. From our perspective, from Pakistan's perspective, it is a very, very important diversification trade. Previously, as was mentioned earlier as well, I mean, we access through private placement, courtesy stand chart, in terms of getting back into Eurobond market after hiatus for 4 years. But we've accessed Eurobond market previously. We have accessed US markets. We have accessed Islamic Sukuk markets. And if from our perspective, this access and this printing of the trade here in the Chinese capital market was long overdue, and very simply, it's the second largest, second deepest capital market in the world. So it's a fantastic day for us. It's also important from the internationalization of RMB perspective. And lastly, from our perspective, it's a great vote of confidence on the economic reform, economic transformation, and direction of travel of the economy. I won't dwell into it because all of you are well versed in terms of all the indices that has happened in terms of our macro stability, and notwithstanding the conflict which is there over the last 2.5 months, we remain committed in terms of our fiscal measures, in terms of primary surplus, in terms of our fiscal discussion, in terms of our external reserves for end of this fiscal year. As you know, ladies and gentlemen, our leadership is at it in terms of their role in terms of the mediation efforts, and we can all hope and pray that this leads to a good outcome, not for Pakistan and not only for the region, but for the world. But in terms of the first order impact, as far as Pakistan economy is concerned, we are managing well. Ladies and gentlemen, the success of this transaction would not have been possible without the exceptional collaboration of many partners. I express once again my sincere gratitude to the government of the People's Republic of China and NAFMI for their invaluable guidance and support throughout the process. Your facilitation has enabled Pakistan to access the onshore Chinese bond market, marking a new milestone in our financial cooperation. I would also like to acknowledge CCXI for the rating process, Panda Partners, and ANQ for their legal advisory support. And I have to acknowledge the leading role that our Debt Management Office at Ministry of Finance, led by Mr. Umar Khan, they've really led from the front over the last couple of years. The Ministry of Finance team and continued support from Mr. Aslam Chaudhry, also led by the Honorable Ambassador, and overall from the team from the Embassy of Pakistan in Beijing. Distinguished guests, this achievement is only the beginning. We were always very clear that we were not here for just one single trade. The overwhelming response that we received yesterday, and as was mentioned 5 times oversubscribed, has only guided us to ensure that we issue the RFP for the next tranches right away. And we want to do that because we want to be regular issuers in the Chinese capital markets. As we celebrate this historic milestone, we also look ahead with optimism towards a future of stronger economic cooperation, deeper financial connectivity, and shared sustainable growth between China and Pakistan. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, I extend my heartfelt appreciation to all our partners and stakeholders who made this issuance possible. I thank you again for joining us today. Shishe.